Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Disclosure in the Media. Here with Ryan Pullenkarts, we're doing Fallout 3 today. Ryan, I know it takes a little while, so why don't you get started?
All right, so Fallout 3 is the third Fallout game. Well, main Fallout game. There's actually one or two that we've done that came out between Fallout 2 and 3, but they were smaller and sometimes they're not even considered canon. So that's why I'm not gonna make a video. We're not making a video on them. Also because the systems they run on are very hard to come by working these days. They came out on the original Xbox and I believe like the PlayStation like 1, and as a result I don't have a working system of that. And I know they've come out with PC ports, but they're not PC ports that I'm willing to get right now because I don't know how stable they are and they could be dangerous. um so we're just going to skip to Fallout 3, which came out in 2008 and is not made by Interplay. So the first two Fallout games that we talked about were made by Interplay, and they were the first people that made Fallout. Today, most of their staff work at a studio called Obsidian, and we'll be talking about them in the next one of these. But so Interplay, what happened with Fallout 3 is Interplay went bankrupt, but they had sold the rights to Bethesda Software, so the people that make the Elder Scrolls games, to make a Fallout game. And when they went bankrupt, Bethesda just offered to buy the Fallout franchise to try to save the company. And Interplay was like, all right, we'll do that deal. And so Interplay ended up selling the rights to the Fallout games to Bethesda, basically to save their company, because the one of the Fallout games that came out in between was a flop. It was called Brotherhood of Steel, and they were basically hedging the entire company's bets on it, and it failed. So in the end, Interplay went out of business, essentially because it flopped. And then Interplay made a deal with Bethesda that was convoluted, and basically Bethesda countersued them because they let them try to make a Fallout MMO, but they basically didn't word it. The words were weird, and basically the MMO, Interplay thought they could make it like in the Fallout universe, not just use the name Fallout. And Bethesda thought like, you can use the name Fallout, but not in our universe now. And Bethesda sued them and won, and basically Interplay ceased to exist at that point. But so now we're in about 2004. Bethesda has the rights to Fallout now, and they make Fallout 3. And unlike Fallout 1 and 2 that are on the West Coast, Fallout 3 is set in Washington, D.C. And that is the reason why it's set in DC is actually fairly simple, and it's actually kind of funny. Bethesda's offices are in Bethesda, Maryland, so it's only like a half hour away, and it was easy for them to get to DC to get pictures and what they need. So that's why it's in DC. Story-wise, Fallout 3 has the least compelling main story, just because it's basically Bethesda's first crack at it, and they wanted to see if there was an audience for like an RPG post-apocalyptic shooter, which is what they made instead of the turn-based combat of the last. So the game was made inside the Oblivion engine, and I'm only giving you this information because it's kind of, you'll see the graphic wise that it's clearly an antiquated game, because the game came out in late 2008 and was very well received, even though by the time it came out, the engine was starting to get antiquated, and critics' biggest complaint was that the gunplay wasn't as refined as it should have been. It was well received because it was basically what people expected, and it was a Fallout game made by Bethesda that had mod support. People liked it, and thus created the Fallout franchise that we know today as these are role-playing games that are first-person or third-person shooters, not the turn-based role players of the late 90s. So Fallout 3, this is kind of like a major image that is associated with a Brotherhood of Steel Paladin right here with his ARE9 laser rifle with the backdrop of the Capitol building. And yeah, so this is kind of like the trailer had, I think, this image reversed kind of in it. And whenever you think Fallout 3, this is kind of the image that comes to a lot of people's head, is the Brotherhood of Steel in DC. So you are born in Vault 101 as a child, and you actually get to see your character get born. And your character creation is like they're using a television screen to like show what you'll look like as an adult. That's how you actually control your character. Like you make your character. Your mother dies in childbirth with you, so you're left with just your father, James. This is your father in the game, voiced by Liam Neeson, which is kind of cool. That they got somebody that big for a game, and he is a very interesting character, and he'll be very important to the plot. But you grow up happily in the vault with him through basically your coming of age into adulthood. And then he leaves the vault. And it's a big deal because the vault, nobody leaves or enters Vault 101 except for basically James when your mother was pregnant with you. And he basically made a deal that he'll keep like the water systems going and stuff to go into the vault. And now that you're an adult, he doesn't see a reason that he has to stay there anymore. So he basically creates like this big kerfuffle and leaves. And in the madness, your best friend, who also lives in the vault, Amada, basically is like, yo, your dad just like dipped out of the vault. And you're like, oh crap, I got to find my dad. So you go out and you find your dad. You're trying to find your dad and see why he just up and left without saying a word. Because he leaves for good reason. Before you were born, he was working on a thing called Project Purity, which is we'll talk about later, but it's basically getting clean water to all of the capital wasteland. So he leaves to actually go do that, but you don't know that. He doesn't say it because there are people that want to either stop or manipulate Project Purity. So he doesn't want you to become a target. So he doesn't say anything, but you leave just to go find him. And you leave the vault. You call it, basically you gun your way out of the vault. Depending on how you choose to play it, you can either gun your way out, you can like trick your way out, or you can sneak out. But you leave the vault, you go through a cave, and you go outside, and the first place you end up is not right here in Megaton. And in Megaton, you do some odd jobs, and Megaton's a cool town just because it's like this entire like junk town. It's all made of junk. It wasn't actually a place before the war, and they built it around an undetonated nuclear bomb just in the middle of town. And there's actually a cult called the Children of Adam, that like ATOM, not like ADAM, and they worship like radiation, and they're like they like worship around the unexploded nuke. And actually later on in the game, you actually get to decide the fate of Megaton, because there is somebody who's willing to pay you a very large sum of in-game currency to detonate that bomb and thus the entire town. And yes, you get really bad karma because there is a karma system in this game. But yeah, you make a ton of money, but like you lose so much karma that it's like for that playthrough, you're not going to come back from it. But yeah, that's Megaton. In the saloon, you end up, after you've done some jobs around town and helped the saloon keeper tells you that your dad did pass through Megaton, and that he went on to GNR, which is the Galaxy News Radio, which is the radio station that you can actually listen to on your Pip-Boy, run by a guy named Three Dog. And on the way, you end up meeting up with some Brotherhoods of Steel guys, and out front of the Galaxy News radio station, or GNN. It depends. There's two different stations, and they're both run out of the same place, but GNN and GNR. You help the Brotherhood take down a behemoth, which is a huge irradiated super mutant that has basically been around so long that and absorbed so much radiation that has grown to like the size of a house. And they can they throw boulders, and they use like pipes and fire hydrants as weapons and stuff. They're massive, and like they take forever to take down. You can shoot them with a mini nuke and they don't die. So yeah, that you help the Brotherhood take that down. You go inside and you meet with Three Dog, this guy right here. And he's really cool. He's a really interesting character because he runs the radio station and he's always telling people to do their part to like help the wasteland. And in his words, it's fight the good fight. And he is like a troubled past character. He was a drug addict and then he got clean, and basically you help him out and he tells you that your father came to find the way to one of his old colleagues, Dr. Madison Lee, and he basically was like, she's in Rivet City, and after you help out Three Dog with fixing his satellite receiver, like the radio antenna, and he will tell you how to find where Rivet City is. And even though you could just find it through exploring, this is like the canon way that it happened. But you end up putting a radio transmitter on top of, let's see if I can find the picture. On top of, so this is the National Mall, and it's the view from where you put the receiver, the Washington Monument. The big obelisk.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You put a radio receiver on that, and this whole area, even though this is a clean picture of it, is overrun by super mutants and the Brotherhood of Steel fighting over the area. So you fight your way to this Brotherhood outpost that's at the Washington Monument. You put this radio antenna receiver up there, and it allows the signal from for the radio station to go across the entire wasteland instead of like just the area around the studio. And before I get ahead of myself, at this point you meet with the Brotherhood like proper, who are based out of the Pentagon, and they're run by this older guy named Elder Lyons. And Elder Lyons led the Brotherhood of Steel detachment to the Capital Wasteland in search of new tech. And I'm saying this because it's very important to understand why there's a Brotherhood presence on the East Coast 200 years after the bombs fell. Because up until Fallout 2, the Brotherhood hasn't left the West Coast. And in fact, they barely left the few outposts they had on the West Coast. So for the Brotherhood of Steel to up and move a decent portion of its troops to the East Coast is very important. So Lyons was already a very high paladin by this point where he sets out with this group and is named the Elder of the East Coast Brotherhood of Steel. And Lyons was sent with a large detachment of Brotherhood of Steel soldiers and personnel, including the still a child, like great descendant of Roger Maxon, Arthur Maxon, so a direct descendant of the guy who started the Brotherhood, which is very important, to the East Coast to find tech, and they set up in the Pentagon because it was like the US's military like hub during the war, before the war. And underneath they found, well, let me see if I can find him, Liberty Prime. Super cool robot, throws nukes like footballs and has death lasers. Best toy that any Brotherhood soldier can find, but they can't get it working yet. So the Brotherhood of Steel holds up there, but they're also, Elder Lyons himself has a different view of how the Brotherhood should act in the wasteland. So out west, the Brotherhood of Steel is only about themselves and only about preserving technology. Lyons decides we're in a new hostile area where we do not have a presence. We need to ingratiate ourselves and start helping out the people of the wasteland. And that's not his first controversial action. When the Brotherhood was moving east across the country, they came to a place called the Pit. And the Pit is the ruins of Pittsburgh. And there's Lyons and the Brotherhood troops just took in a large group of unirradiated children, which was unheard of. So that was like the first sign that Lyons was a bit of a different leader. Well, Lyons' decision to help out the wasteland had consequences back with the West Coast Brotherhood and with diehard Brotherhood soldiers within his own group. So the West Coast basically is like, the Brotherhood of Steel on the East Coast is no longer sanctioned by us. So they're cut off. They can't go back if they wanted to. And as a result of that, a group of Lions' own soldiers broke away because they see him as a traitor to the Brotherhood of Steel, and they keep up the old Brotherhood mission of just getting technology and making sure it stays in the hands of people who they believe can trust it.
Mhm.
And they are called the Brotherhood of Steel Outcasts, and they painted their power armor black and red, and they would just go out, and if you got in their way, they were just going to gun you down. And especially in the Capital Wasteland, because people just didn't know about the Brotherhood of Steel, a lot of people mixed them up. So you had these good guys in power armor, and then you had these guys that, like, if you got in their way, they're just going to gun you down. They don't care. So it hurt the Brotherhood of Steel's reputation at first, but after a while, people realized that the Outcasts were the ones that wore the black armor, and the other ones are the ones that wore like the steel-colored armor. And the Brotherhood Outcasts and the Brotherhood of Steel fought the entire game, and they you don't deal with this schism by the end of the game. Now you do work with both groups, and I'll get into that a bit later. But for basically what we're going through now, this is the Outcasts. You do meet them. They really only see you as like a temporary aid, and that's it. So you basically get to choose to join the Brotherhood or not. Most players do because it makes the rest of the game easier, but you don't have to. And you still work with them, but you don't have to join them. But you do get power armor and stuff if you do. So, and power armor is cool. So, yeah, most people do. In your travels, you'll also run across the talking tree named Harold, and the talking tree is not actually a tree. It is Harold from Fallout 1 and 2, who his mutation has now set up to the point where the tree growing out of his head has rooted to the ground, and Harold can no longer leave. And he actually, the tree around him is so powerful that it is actually like creating a forest in the wasteland. But Harold just doesn't want to live anymore. And so you come upon Harold being worshipped by this group of like neo hippies that are like, oh, Harold is the god of the green, and he will restore the forests and the beauty of the old world. But Harold himself just wants to die. He is sick of existing. He'll never move again. And so you're left with this dilemma. Do you ruin these people's religion by killing their god? Or do you give Harold the death that he wants? And there's only one way that you can get like bad karma from doing this quest, and that's if you just like take out a flamethrower and kill Harold with that. Because there is like a humane way to do it where like you go underground where his heart is and like take it out. Mm-hmm. But most players, when they hear Harold, who have played the old Fallout games, can't let him suffer, so they do kill him. The ones that don't, it's up to them. But yeah, it's just one of those cool like nods back to the old games. So that's why I included it. And because this mutation is really interesting, and I feel like there's definitely going to be beings, like elemental beings, that are similar to that look, even though it's maybe not that grotesque.
Oh yeah, there are trees like this, dryads that are like this, that they have faces like this too that sometimes can appear through trees, like if they're like a mother or father dryad. Also, if enough elementals have passed through a tree as a portal. So trees can be portals and gateways too, large ones. And the wood eventually will take the shape of whomever has passed through it, or whatever has passed through it. And I've noticed this also in pieces of planks of wood that have been created from old trees. There's like an in-between stage. Like if you were to like stack them and show them side by side, you would see the progression of something had passed through the tree and created a face. Just like at my father's house in Mundelein, Illinois, there's a closet door that looks like there's a shape that looks almost kind of like an alien head or something like that. Kind of looks almost like a weird football shaped alien, standing at the door. And what that was that piece of wood, even though it was like a piece of wood that was like turned into almost like a laminate, but it's still real wood. it came from a tree where something had passed through it and left its energetic imprint. And I've also encountered, like I said, mother, father dryads where they will form a face on the outside like this. Also, before we go on, when you were showing Washington D.C., where they put the transmitter on top of the
picture.
Washington Monument, uh, as it currently stands right now, there is a transmitter on the top of the Washington Monument that is helping to broadcast the Arconian binary network for the area. Obelisks are known at the moment for transmitting this extremely dense 3D energy through graveyards, through historic sites, and through church grounds. This is also what happened in ancient Egypt when they were trying to ground certain energies there when the Archontic forces invaded Egypt. This goes back to there, but I was there several years ago, a couple times, and I walked right up to the Washington Monument, and you can feel like this signal just grounding over the entire area. And this would also cause people to fight and want to claim the area. This is also what they're trying to cause now with the political civil war garbage that they're trying to create at the moment with this binary network. But I figured I would bring that up because that was just a slight nod towards that, even though that's set 200 years later. It's still a slight nod towards that.
Yeah, Fallout 3, I forgot to mention, is set exactly 200 years after the bombs fall in 2277.
All right.
Also, I feel like this kind of image is like directly taken from another timeline where like this happened.
Yes. Yeah, I believe so. What's also interesting, there was a show on called Man in the High Castle about parallel universes. And in that universe, the Nazis bomb Washington D.C. and it looks exactly like this in the show when a character approaches the Capitol building, and it looks exactly like this, where it's all hollowed out, and the Capitol has a big like hole in the side of it, like you saw in the other image, and it looks exactly like this. And I knew from channelings I did years ago. This was from my original book. If anybody even has it now, I know I redacted that book. There was a set of channelings in there from our original forefathers of the country. And they were trying to say that there was a possible timeline that there would be a political civil war and Washington would look like this. It would be the centrist for the whole fight. And I believe that is the alternate timeline they were making reference to. Is also being depicted in this image too.
Yeah. So now we'll just continue on. And so you arrive here at Rivet City, and Rivet City is literally just an old military aircraft carrier. And here you'll also pick up a quest call where you will look for. I believe it's called like the something man. But basically, it's the introduction to synths in the Fallout series. And Fallout 4 deals very heavily with what a synth is. And a synth is a synthetic human made by a group called the Institute that runs themselves out of the Boston area. And there's a group that aids these synths, and they are called the Railroad, and they basically help escaped synths to ingratiate into society. And they'll even help them go all the way down to the Capital Wasteland, and they'll wipe their memories so that they don't know that they're a synth, because it can protect the synth from being recaptured, because our groups the Institute sends out called Synth Retention Bureau, and they will aid, and you basically get the choice to either protect this synth that works here in Rivet City or turn him over to the head of the Synth Retention Bureau. That's up to the player. I'm not going to ruin the quest for anybody that might go and play the Fallout 3 after, if they have an Xbox 360 or a PS3 that can run it, because it's a really good quest, and it's when we get to Fallout 4 in a couple videos, you'll see the Institute itself, and it'll be interesting. But in Rivet City, you meet with Dr. Lee. Now, this is an image of Dr. Lee from Fallout 4, just because it's a better quality image. But do note that this is Dr. Lee 10 years after the events of Fallout 3. But she is helping your father with Project Purity. She was like she was head like a high up scientist under your father back in the day before your birth. And from her, you can learn that your father has returned to Project Purity that is based out of the Jefferson Memorial. And let me see if I can which picture that is. That's it. That's Project Purity. And basically, as I've said, Project Purity is just an attempt to purify the Capital Wasteland's water and in the Potomac River, which is basically the major water source for the Capital Wasteland. You head there and you learn from some of the other scientists that are now following your father, who has returned was instantly reinstated as like top scientist for Project Purity. You learn that he went to one of the vaults to look for a Gek, just like the thing that we talked about in Fallout 2, that Garden of Eden creation kit.
Mm-hmm.
And currently he's trapped in that vault. So you go save him from the vault. Don't want to ruin the events of that vault because it's really trippy. And it's not like super disclosure-y. Basically, I'll just say there's someone in charge of said vault that like it has used like illusions in computer software to like turn themselves into something that they're not, and is trying to keep everybody in stasis that enters the vault. Mm-hmm. But you get your father out of said vault and you return to Project Purity. Now, at this point, you have already been hearing about this group called the Enclave, and it's the exact same Enclave that you destroy the oil rig base of during Fallout 2. They boarded their vertibirds and flew east. And in fact, people in the West Coast remember the vertibird fleet flying east at the end of Fallout 2. In New Vegas, you hear some of the old timers say, yes, the vertibird fleet went east, but not all of the Enclave did. This is only some of the Enclave that escaped, so it's like the continuation of the Enclave. Some of the Enclave just stayed and ingratiated in Western U.S. society by that point, but now you run into the Enclave. And let's see, where are the Enclave pictures? There's the Enclave. That's their soldiers in Fallout 3. They're wearing a new form of power armor. They've got two new types of power armor. They've got this, which is like what I call like the mantid power armor, because it looks kind of like praying mantis-like. Mm-hmm. And then they have the Hellfire power armor. I believe the one that I'm talking about is really considered like Exo 3 power armor. That's like the name of it in like now. And then there's this Hellfire power armor, which is a bit more like, it's flatter, it's rounder, it doesn't have as many of like the sticky outy bits, and it's just like a more fire resistant, heavier power armor. And they also still have like the Exo 1, like the more fly eye power armor. I just don't have a picture of that one loaded.
What I find interesting about this, though, is there's a set of current events going on right now that have to do with the whole fake alien invasion narrative. And what is going on, and the reason I feel these look very bug-like is that the current military-industrial complex, at least the bad ones / cabal / corporations, are trying to form a fake alien invasion by using insectoid forms. Not that some of the insectoids aren't bad. Yes, they are, very much so. But they also can transfer themselves to some of these insectoid bodies, but also they can wear armor that has bug-like tendencies to it, or bug-like looks to it, in order to perpetuate this fake alien invasion. This is a narrative that they're currently trying to implement. I don't believe they're going to. I believe wholeheartedly they're not going to be able to do this. But this is something that's being talked about even right now in these circles. And even while I'm talking, I can feel them messing with my head a little bit. But this is something that's interesting that they show them in bug forms, why they are just allowing, these negative bugs to do things. Just like in Starship Troopers, that old movie when they had the bug invasions. They were trying to perpetuate that. You're going to be heroic if you kill the bugs, but they're trying to set up this narrative just like they tried to set up the political, Civil War narrative with Washington D.C. in ruins. This is another narrative that where this is like a plan B kind of, where, okay, or not necessarily plan B, they were going to go from one to the next one. Now it's become kind of a plan B because the other one wasn't falling for. So now this one, they're going with this. So, but the power armor themselves are essentially like Martian German design, also Mosin design as well, like we've said in past videos. But the bug thing specifically, is them trying to create this fake alien invasion narrative. And they've been trying this for at least 20 to 30 years now.
All right. So now we'll talk about the leadership of the Enclave in this game, because it's not the same leadership as the last game, because they died when you blew up the oil rig in Fallout 2. And let me just see where his picture is. This is the leader of the Enclave. Well, the human leader of the Enclave in Fallout 3. His name is Augustus Autumn, named after the first emperor of Rome. But he co-leads the Enclave with a computer consciousness called John Henry Eden that is basically like a propaganda. He claims it's the rightfully elected president of the United States, and it's the one that also that and there is a power struggle between Autumn and Eden, and ultimately the player destroys the Eden consciousness like computer, and Augustus Autumn takes over command of the Enclave and decides Project Purity is the perfect way for the Enclave to achieve the goal that it failed at on the West Coast. So remember, in Fallout 2, the main thing the Enclave was doing was going to spread their strain of the forced evolutionary virus to wipe everybody out, to wipe out anything they considered an abomination, which pretty much meant anything that had radioactivity and wasteland genes. Well, basically, they were going to adapt Project Purity into the dispersal of this same strain of FEV to do it through the water this time. And so Eden and his Enclave troops show up at Project Purity, and your father sacrifices himself and floods the facility to keep the Enclave from just getting it easily. And so they also force everybody out that can get out. You get out, and Eden and his Enclave troops begin to deflood the station and start getting the systems good to do their plan. And to be honest, the Enclave is not as evil as in this game as they could be. They don't just wipe out settlements like that, and they have a goal that is noble in some respects. They just see the society that has become after the war as being so corrupted that there is no hope of fixing it back to what America was. So they plan to basically do a reset by wiping out the population, which is awful, yes. But their plan is to just rebuild America from the ashes. And if they have to do it the way they're going to, they're going to. But the Enclave isn't all bad, because you do see them they have aided people throughout the Capital Wasteland to their own end, but they have helped people, and they're in more of a gray area, but they're still considered bad. And so now the act 2 of the main story basically is you and the Brotherhood decide that the Enclave needs to go down. And so you begin to fight the Enclave, and you do. But you get and when you return to Project Purity with the Brotherhood force, led by yourself and Sarah Lyons, Elder Lyons' daughter, who's I believe she's a Sentinel. She's either a Sentinel or a High Paladin. Which is just some of the highest ranking offices within the Brotherhood of Steel. And you show up and you beat Autumn, and Autumn dies. But he does this thing. He basically releases this ray. Instead of being able to get the FAV into the water yet, he decides that he's just going to put a huge amount of radiation in the water, because he didn't have time to get the FEV installed by the time the Brotherhood attacks. And he the way to stop it is for you to go inside and reset Project Purity. And there's 3 options that you can have to end the game, its main story. You go in and succumb to the radiation, but reset the computer and make Project Purity work the way it should. You release the FEV and wipe out all non-Enclave life. Or you send Sarah Lyons in. She sacrifices herself. Or there's a third option. There's a third person that can go in, which is a super mutant named Fox that will be a follower. You have to pass a speech check for him to be willing to do it because he thinks it's your destiny to do it. But basically, you purify the water or you don't. If Sarah goes in, you're purifying the water and you survive and she dies. If Fox goes in, you tell him exactly what you want him to do and he'll do it. But and you survive and Sarah survives. If you go in, you succumb to the radiation. Fox and Sarah live, and you can choose to do whatever you want. Now, canon ending is you do like fix the water and you purify it so the Capital Wasteland has good drinking water. And Sarah then goes on to lead the Brotherhood in the wake of Lyons' death because he's an old man for at least a time. But we'll get into the DLCs now because you're not dead. Ooh, big spoiler, you're not dead. So basically, the Fallout games under Bethesda, before the DLCs come out, they are, when you finish the main quest, it is the end of that character's run of the game. You cannot go back and play that character unless you play a save before the end of that quest. The DLCs, however, make it so, one, they up the level cap so you can like get more experience and new perks and stuff. 2, they make it so you can play through your old characters on them. So with the Broken Steel DLC, which is I'm using, which image is it? This image. You wake up in a Brotherhood hospital facility at the Pentagon, and the Brotherhood, in the time that you've been out, have now, the Enclave is pretty much broken, but they still have bases in the Capital Wasteland, and you need to help the Brotherhood finish this war. And the Brotherhood has gotten Liberty Prime up and running, and it's time to take the fight to the Enclave. So you and the Brotherhood take the fight to the Enclave, quite literally. You attack their bases, you cut them down, you shoot their vertibirds out of the sky. Liberty Prime has been programmed to think that they're all communists and they need to be destroyed, and he's spitting propaganda the entire time about how great America is and how communism must die and how Chairman Chang of China from before the war is the biggest enemy that the U.S. has ever faced. And it's just absolute crazy mass warfare. But in the final assault, the Enclave use one of their orbital satellites to bomb the shit out of the Brotherhood of Steel's attacking force. They destroy Liberty Prime, but they themselves are defeated by the Brotherhood of Steel being able to still infiltrate their base and take them out. And even though Liberty Prime has been lost for now, he basically got blown up, but he can be rebuilt. The Brotherhood does gain something arguably better, which is a lot of the Enclave's vertibird fleet. Like the majority of it, plus the schematics to make more, as well as a large supply of power armor and energy weapons. So the Brotherhood of Steel on the East Coast is now most likely the strongest faction in all of the Fallout America. Only rivaled by, at this point, maybe the NCR on the West Coast. And the NCR at this point is starting to get big, but again, we won't see them in this game, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, so that's the Broken Steel DLC. You just take out the Enclave. They use their space weapons, which I do not deny that if the Cabal felt threatened enough in certain timelines, they would have just turned them on the planet themselves. So that's why I brought up Broken Steel. Also,
Yeah, that's actually true. If the Cabal were threatened, also the Orion forces are threatened, and some of those Orion servants and such were threatened. They would detonate things like that, or they would use things like that. They have this Thor's hammer type weapon that they could throw like this big chunk of metal down on the earth, like a big meteorite. They call it Thor's hammer.
yeah, wasn't that talked about in some of the disclosure things? They like use it's like an impact weapon.
Yeah, it's an impact weapon. Yeah, they got some of these ideas from the Draco, where the Draco like to use impact weapons, drop meteors, chunks of rock, stuff like that. And they got this idea where it's this big bar where they just drop it down on the earth. There's also this is reminiscent of the Knights against like some of the Cabal forces and some of the breakaway factions of different SSP soldiers, as well as the Mosin and some of the Cassiopeian groups as well, fighting different Cabal forces. So this is rather reminiscent of that thrown into one as well.
All right, so then the next DLC, which I did not have a picture of because I kind of forgot it existed, I'll just grab a picture of it now.
All right.
We'll just go with, oh, I did not mean to do that. There we go. The pit, and that's, you go and you get to learn about the pit, which is like full of slave workers toiling who have been infected by like an illness, so that they still making steel in Pittsburgh in this post-apocalyptic period. And in the pit you become one of these sick workers, but ultimately you free the pit, or you aid the pit master who frees you and gives you the antidote, and you get to choose basically what you want to do with that. The only kind of disclosure in the pit that I know about is it's more of like showing like this Mad Max world where slave labor has taken over our society, and where the few press people into production, and that's kind of it. It's really not much more than that.
Yeah. Okay.
It's more just like add more places to the world and explore new cities and stuff. It's honestly, I haven't really watched anything of it other than you get to see like a fighting arena and some stuff like that.
Yeah, essentially, that's still true. There's also depictions of that Mad Max type timeline where they like to show like arena style fighting. There's also some alien groups that have created like space arenas where they'll pit certain abductees against each other, like if they're looking for certain genes and stuff. That's something that's not really well spoken about, but that has happened too. I call them cube like arenas because they will pit people against each other. Some soldiers, some actual soldiers have dreamt about situations like that, and also types of Mad Max Earth type scenarios where they're connecting to these alternate timelines. Like I did, I connected to different alternate timelines that involved this Mad Max world. So that's just more of an extension of that.
Yeah. Then we have the Point Lookout DLC, which, okay, I am going to take a moment just to talk about this image, and that is just due to the fact that it has this little Capital Wasteland thing in there. And the Capital Wasteland project is a mod for Fallout 4 that is attempting to remake Fallout 3 in Fallout 4. The only reason I'm giving them a little shout out is because they've done a lot of really hard work, and I think they deserve it.
Okay.
And I mean, it'll make it Fallout 3's story be able to be played in a much more modern engine. And I think it's just something that, if most likely this will be the definitive way to play Fallout 3 in the future, because it doesn't run on modern hardware, for PC at least. So in the Point Lookout DLC, you do go to like the swamps of like Virginia, where Point Lookout is. And this is an area that did not get bombed because it was just kind of like, why would they bomb a swamp? And it's run by like, it's these inbred like people live there, and that's one of them. But the big thing for disclosure in this is this group called the Blackthorn family, I believe, and they live in this magic big mansion and they have this book called the Crypnectia or something, and it's like it's like full of like ancient evil knowledge, and it's very occult, and they like summon demons and things, and they kill people, and uh it's like the end of their lineage though. Like there's no one continuing on because like the only people left are like two old people, or I
Mhm.
think it might be one old people and one old person, and yeah, it's just this occult like thing. And then later on in Fallout 4, you do find that this family before the war ran like a big business, and like all their higher ups were also part of this cult, and they were like doing human sacrifice in this one place in Fallout 4, and they had the demons there, and you fight them, and you fight like this, and you fight through this mine, and you like see images of the past where they were doing these like occult rituals, and in this you find the book that is like the heart of this occult, and it was meant to be have been given to this family by like these demons. And yeah, that's a bit of disclosure, I'm guessing, and heavy about like summoning and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, it is definitely. You can trap demons within a book, a narrative, a cube, like a closet, or that's why they also hide in crawl spaces and such. But you can trap them within the words of a narrative, and then release them with the opposite of those words in a narrative. You know, people call those spells and incantations, invocations, stuff like that. You can literally trap them within a book. But there were pieces of technology a long time ago that were like pads, like some of the old like Tuatha and them would use that. Then spell books and stuff were fashioned after. Some people would call that a cargo cult, where they would mimic bits of technology, and it wouldn't be the same, but it's the intention that's put into it. There were pieces of technology, whereas they could literally write something in a book and then trap it or bring it out. But then also spells that witches, warlocks, and wizards and such use was still essentially the same. So yeah, you can trap a demon within a narrative. That's how I originally went after demons before I learned how to cut their head off. It was I would literally write the words saying they were trapped within a fake like narrative, and you can write a story where they're constantly in a loop, very much like Wes Craven's New Nightmare, where it's like this constant narrative loop that's in the movie. How he wrote that in with Freddy being like fake and real kind of at the same time. Well, it's like that. There's an actual truth to that, where you can trap demons, and then you can also unleash them. Sometimes the spellcaster will make it so that whether the book is open or closed determines whether it's trapped, like a box.
Mm-hmm.
And you can let them out, and when the words see the outside energies, it opens up. Sometimes you have to read them. Sometimes it needs to see air, and you can do it that way. You can tool these spells however you really want to, and that actually makes sense. I don't know of any inbred tribes that are currently doing this, but the concept itself is true as far as I
Well,
know.
the inbred people aren't. They just live around it, and they're like the demons literally keep them out from going into the place, and like the demons will kill them if they get too close.
Okay, yeah, then that
The
that makes
inbred tribes are just like there. They're like a family that were like already there before the war, and because there's nobody else coming in, they just yeah.
no. Okay, no.
Uh, they you deal with a conflict between them and like some robots, and that's the main story there. More just I feel like it was a way to like disclose like this Tribnectia stuff, even though it's not the main story.
Yeah, that's a form of that disclosure, and there are also Cabal sorcerers that do that kind of thing to this day. That's how they bring Jinn and whatnot through, even though they do it through like a cauldron type portal, bringing them across from their realm to this one. The same can be done with a book too.
And then the final DLC, which is probably the most important for the disclosure of this, in this video at least, is Mothership Zeta, which is an Alien DLC. And let me find the right image. So this is what you wake up to. Basically, you see a UFO and you wake up on their mothership and above the Earth. And you wake up like to them like probing you and testing you and stuff. And these are the Zetans like we saw in the last video. But you learn more about their agenda now, and you know that they've at least been abducting people and doing experiments on this ship since 1600. So the experiment that you're seeing is they're taking DNA, they're also just learning about us. They have like one of every object that you can find in the entire game.
Mm-hmm.
They have animals that you find on the surface, but you also see these things which are in the game. They're called abominations, but what they really are human alien hybrids.
Yeah.
And they like you have to kill them too when you're running around, because you basically break free and you get your stuff back and you just start killing throughout the ship. And you also find so here's like an image of you like killing throughout the ship.
Mm-hmm.
You also find prisoners, other test subjects that are still alive in a cryo freeze thing. And they include a cowboy from the Old West, a samurai from Japan, from like the Warring States period,
Mm-hmm.
a pre-war U.S. soldier, and I think there's another one. It might be a knight. And you guys take over the ship. And you go back, you use one of their small like UFOs to get back to the surface so you can keep playing Fallout.
Mm-hmm.
But they stay up there and they like live on this ship above, and they learn, and you basically tell them that like, yeah, it's horrible down there, don't go down. You even tell like the US soldier from before the war, like yeah, we bombed each other out. And he can't believe it. So they stay up there and they got unlimited food and stuff. So they're happy. But you learn about the hybridization. You learn about the Zetas, which the Ebens, which are the Zetas,
Mm-hmm.
which we know about, which we always thought were a bit better of the gray group.
Yeah.
I think this is directly like, yeah, don't trust the Ebens.
Yeah, don't. There are a couple good groups out there, but they're not as cohesive. There are a couple I knew when I lived in Nebraska that were fairly decent, but they still worked with government factions. Those groups still worked with them. Some of them have a different idea of ethics than we do. They might see, recycling dead bodies as reusing what's there, kind of like if we were to recycle garbage or something like that. But since they don't really agree with human rituals and stuff like that, they like they did back in the past during Project Serpo during the exchange program, when people encountered Ebens, they took a dead body of somebody who died on the trip to their planet, and they reused them and started to create some weird, creepy hybrid familiar, and the humans thought it was evil. They felt it was evil because they wouldn't let them bury the body. They demanded the Zetas demanded it be reused. They gave it back after the humans were ready to beat the crap out of them, but it was like, but that's one of the stories that's been floating around out there. And for anybody listening, I'm not stealing the information. I'm actually comparing it to what I know. The hybrids, when you showed the hybrid earlier, when you showed that one, I've seen ones that look like this before with like kind of the pot belly. That's like the older Egyptian look, the Orion second generation Egyptian look with the weird pot belly hips, with the longer arms and the bigger head. Also these chambers that are to the sides. The ones I remember seeing in the Secret Space program were clear, and they had like a blue watery liquid in them, and you could do body transfers within those. They would clone somebody and transfer them to the new host. They would create hybrids with programming and such in them in these particular chambers. There's another type that's like a bathtub where people raise up out of it. That was depicted in Battlestar Galactica, but this is a more common type that require a frigging nuclear reactor to power them pretty much. They require that much power to do body transfers and all the cloning, and this is where a lot of this power is going to in some of the bases. Some of the bases have these, but this is Eben tech that was given to our own people, and the Ebens got it from the Orions. The Orions stole it from the Lyrans, but that's going back like a million years in galactic history right there, just in a nutshell. But yeah, the Ebens, I would not trust them. There was a read that I posted to our Patreon that was about some of the Eben agenda, trying to create more asexual type people that followed more of a I don't want to say transgender because there's a lot of good transgender stuff out there. I'm just saying this is an agenda they were using as a false flag within their cloning. They were also attempting to create more of a godlike figure in that area. I found out some of their agenda. If people want to check that out, I have a session that I posted to our Patreon entitled Even Agenda. But yeah, don't trust them, folks. Some of they're very placid. They can be very placid, but they can be very aggressive too. In this neighborhood that we have here, there's some Ebens living in human forms. This is a legitimate thing I came to find out here in this neighborhood in Prescott Valley. I live in Granville, but further on in this direction, I don't know what cardinal direction I'm pointing here, but there are some Ebens living in homes. They have their own families, and everything like that. In New Mexico, it's the same way. During the exchange program, they came over. They're living in homes, having families, everything, and they're using human DNA to kind of extinct themselves and turn themselves into humans. But sometimes in that interim, they want to learn about individual concepts, sometimes sexuality, sometimes more intellectual type pursuits, sometimes spiritual, and they tend to go a little insane from time to time because they're not used to those codexes. They're not used to our range of emotions. That's where we have the leg up on them. We have a lot more of our faculties in place. And also, they do worship a god. They worship artificial intelligence. You may not always see them. If you see like a pure Eben, they're not AI. They're biological, like unlike the Orions who have fused with AI, but they have AI servants, these little grays that are probably 2-3 feet high that have like a butt like head, and their security forces are larger Ebens, and they're kind of brown skin, and they have also a butt-like head. Every time I say that, Isaac just loses it. But it's like I always say they have a butt crack for a head. He just loses it. But they kind of resemble a Ferengi a little bit from Star Trek, just a little with the bigger black eyes. But yeah, also there are human hybrids out there with the Eben coding that are actually decent. This is where some of the indigo and golden children prophecy came from. They created this, even though there's good spiritual stuff. I'm not discounting that part. This is something they wouldn't comprehend. But they created this whole prophecy so they could keep adding their Eben coding from consecutive generations, saying these children are more advanced and are more genius-like. I'm not denigrating the kids because I'm technically more of an indigo because I was born in that particular time frame in the 80s. But I'm saying they made this prophecy up so they could continue with their genetic experimentation. So overall, don't trust these beings because they have a very deep-rooted agenda in our society.
All right, and yeah, I'm just gonna end. That was kind of Fallout 3 story. Now I'm gonna say a few things just because they've come out after the fact and they're pertinent. We do know what the canon Lone Wanderer, which is what the name of your character, like the title your character gets after, as like a hero of the Wasteland title, is. It's basically a brown-haired young male who travels with a dog, just like this picture. This is actually a high-res like remake of the picture that you see at the end of Fallout 3 when it talks about like all the good you've done and stuff, or the bad, depending on who you are, how you chose to play. But they they even released an action figure of the Lone Wanderer that you can get, and they also have a Brother Steel Paladin one, I think. But the Lone Wanderer, it's a young male, brown hair with in that garb, who wields a rifle. I will go into a little bit because it'll be interesting when we get to Fallout 4. I'll just go a little bit of the stuff that we know took place shortly after. We know that in the wake of the Brotherhood winning the war with the Enclave, they began work on an airship called the Prydwen, which is like a large armored blimp, which became like one of their new major bases that they could use as a mobile command and now use their vertibird fleet. We also know that Elder Lyons died of old age and that his daughter Sarah Lyons became elder for a time. And then, either she died in battle or she stepped down. And there was a chaotic period of a few various elders that didn't last long or died in battle with the outcasts, because these elders continued the trend of aid the random people of the Commonwealth. And then how I mentioned earlier about Arthur Maxon,
Hmm.
child that they took with them, he became of age, killed a Deathclaw single-handedly with just a knife, proved himself, and they were all ready to swear fealty to him. He became the new elder, even though he's probably only 30. No, I think he was in his teens when he became elder. He's he's in his mid 20s by the time you meet him in Fallout 4.
Hmm.
He becomes the elder of the West Coast Brotherhood of Steel. He is able to get he goes back to more of a West Coast tradition, less charity, but they still take people from outside the Brotherhood who are pure humans only.
Hmm.
So no mutants of any kind can be part of the Brotherhood. And he gets the outcasts back inside the faction, and even adopts a bit of their look. The Brotherhood starts using the black and red motif
Hmm.
for their armor, and the Brotherhood becomes extremely strong under Maxon, to the point where they can leave the Capital Wasteland and start dealing with operations outside. They famously in Fallout 4 stage a campaign to the Commonwealth. That's 10 years after the events of Fallout 3, and we will do a dedicated video about Fallout 4 because there's a lot of cool stuff in Fallout 4,
Oh yeah,
especially.
that's the one I'm currently jumping in between that and Fable 3, but I'm going back and forth between that and
But
Fable.
we will definitely talk about him more in that video. Also, we know that the Capital Wasteland begins to flourish with purified water, and that your character sort of settles down, and we don't know too much more. Fan theories have him basically going back to, well, them, depending if you were a guy or girl, going back and being with your childhood friend, and just starting a settlement, sort of like the Vault Dweller did from Fallout 1. But ultimately, we don't know, because we don't know, and that's for a good purpose,
Mhm.
that we don't know what happened exactly to the Lone Wanderer.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good ending to that. Embodying that hero essence. Kind of almost like a Mad Max figure where he fades into the background after he's corrected something. That's kind of like along the lines of like in Mad Max Fury Road, for instance. After he's reestablished civilization, he just kind of fades into the background and lets people do their thing after that.
I do need to say, in Fallout 4, you do hear a few references to the Lone Wanderer. People that knew him, you've met a few of them. In
Mhm.
fact, one of them you can actually be as your follower. He was a child when the Lone Wanderer met him, and you meet him in Fallout 3 as a child. There's two characters like this: Elder Maxon in
Mhm.
Fallout 4, and McCready, one of the followers that you can find. Both met the Lone Wanderer, and there's some like little Easter eggs. McCready, for instance, says "Tunnel Snakes rule" in one of his like just random dialogue options. Tunnel Snakes rule is actually the Tunnel Snakes were a group within one Vault 101 that were like they pretended they were like a gang, and you can join them by saving their leader during during like the crazy events when you're trying to escape. So it's just like there's little references to him, but nothing like you don't meet him. And even if you did, he would probably be like the boss fight at the end of the game just to test your character.
Yeah.
But you don't meet him, and I think that's for the best, personally.
Yeah, they just left him to fall into legend, and that's pretty much it. I could see that being good. It would ruin it if they brought him into it. Yeah, I think it would ruin the story.
Yeah. And so that is Fallout 3. I don't know if you want to channel first and then try to get the game working or not.
Yeah, I think I'll do that because I'm thinking Isaac's chomping at the bit here. I've asked him a couple times if he's wanting to say anything, and hang on. Ooh, yeah. There's also a very charged energy in the air today surrounding this. There must be something important that we didn't touch on here. Let's see here. Well, yeah, there is this. Okay, I'm getting this weird validation here. There's something that apparently we didn't touch on. Okay, when I started to say that, when I feel it up my spine, there's like some validation there. This is validating. The whole of this is validating that what? No, you're just gonna say it. Okay, it's gonna take me too long to parrot here. Okay, let me see. Oh, yeah. Oh yeah, there's a charged energy, but I could also feel resistance when I was talking about like the fake alien invasion and stuff like that. I could feel like this nudging, on the side of my face and everything, like somebody was pushing me like this. And no, it was not you, Isaac. Okay, let me see. Oh, it was you. Why were you nudging my head? I understand. Oh, because of the events of last time. I get it. When your computer crashed the last time, because we were going into, I guess, some extremely sensitive material, and they decided to target your computer last time. You don't want that happening again, so you were like doing this. Okay, I was talking. Okay, all right. All right, let's see. You want to say, oh, if it filters through you, then it's not really okay. I understand. It still happened anyway. You were talking while it happened last time. Okay, let me see. All right. You're not. Oh, you're able to prevent that this time. Okay. All right. If we get the game thing up and running, are you going to have another synchronicity in there? Yeah, it works. Yes. Okay. All right. Isaac, you know the drill through the crystal here. Okay. The entirety of this series, also in this one in particular, even though it is set a couple hundred years into your future, is very significant because they wished your society to hit a certain, let's just say, divided pinnacle by that time, weeding different portions of people out of your history by that time, starting with the war all the way up to this 200 in the future period. You see, weeding down different genetics, just exactly like what was explained in the previous recording with the Enclave wishing to use the virus to cleanse everything. This is similar to what is going on now, but it is more or less consent based within your population. What he said was correct, and on all counts, with the orchestrated civil war and the orchestrated alien invasion force. These were being touched on within the game series, as well as the binary network. They wish you to believe that your society will denigrate to the point where you will have to rebuild anew. Rebuilding anew within is just fine, you see, but not necessarily rebuilding your society from scratch, like what was shown in that other timeline, nor will selective people be left out. All are inclusive. Granted, there are some people within your society causing problems. This is something that is well aware to the galactic community and myself, but everyone will be all inclusive with the events to come within your year of 2021. My time is rather limited today, so I will take a few questions.
All right. So, most strikingly, what the mothership in Mothership Zeta most likely is depicting real events.
Correct.
Do they have like people in cryostasis from like 400, 500 years ago or beyond?
Indeed, they do, actually. This is something that was being depicted absolutely correctly. They have taken people from different eras. They have also depicted this in other game and book and movie series as well, including people that have immortalized genes that will live through the ages, making course corrections in your history. But with the topic at hand, yes, they do have currently people in stasis from different time frames. They see this as a human library of genetics, a human library to be able to measure the evolution of genetics as time goes on. You see, This when they have, say, added something to the genes or started an experiment and they wish to measure over many cultures the adaptations over many, many cultures, or they wish to measure merely just human evolution in different race types, you see. They have roughly a football field sized facility or chamber with a multitude of different historical eras, different people they have taken, some of which are samurai, some of which are cowboys and knights, you see. There are people from different areas of the world. They wish to preserve that particular culture. The only way they knew how was to take a particular individual, say they also liked a trait that they liked in that particular culture. How do you keep history alive? Well, you keep a person alive. But I'm not saying they have a wholly benevolent agenda behind this. This is what will be the end result of these people. These people will eventually be let out, just like in the game, and they will form their own culture as an amalgam of different cultures. Those languages will stay alive, and those histories will stay alive. There's even soldiers from your World War I and World War II incorporated into this, as well as Cowboy era, Puritan era, and other eras such as your Roman and Grecian empires. These were all inclusive, and these people will have the facts surrounding some history that has been diluted over time.
Now, you see, that's very interesting to me because it seems inherently inefficient for these beings to have done this.
Extremely inefficient. As I've said, it's not a wholly benevolent agenda. However, benevolence will spring from this because of the fact that certain facts about your history that have been erased will be known. But as you have said, this is not necessarily an efficient way of doing this. Having the entire culture, yes, in some cases, this has been done by some of your space brethren. Good ones have preserved different cultures, very much like your preservers in the Star Trek lore. But in this particular instance, yes, there was a more of a nefarious agenda behind this, but I'm saying the result will be something that the Ebens will not have counted on.
Yes, the only reason I'm saying that is the Ebens to me have always struck as being very efficient in all the things they do, or they try to be. And it seems that keeping a body in stasis would go against their view of efficiency instead of just keeping a large bank of human DNA.
Yes, this is exactly what is felt by some other humans that have witnessed this practice. The nefarious agenda behind this is merely a measuring of the genetics and what they feel is a preserving of that particular measurement at a particular time, very much like a computer restore point, if you want to call it that. These particular poor people are also being used as processing units within the vessels that they are in to process some of the codes and codexes within a giant computer that they are hooked up to in those particular tubes you see. They are also helping supply different hybridized and purified genes that the Ebens can no longer contain or obtain, you see. So yes, it is highly inefficient with that particular bit of inspiration. However, in more of a benevolent source creator inspired inspiration, this will help humans out greatly in the future.
I see. Thank you. Now, moving on to Project Purity, because it's striking to me in that I feel as if our water currently maybe already has things in it, and in the future we will do something like Project Purity to clean it.
Yes, you are most correct there. This is in operation even as you speak, you see. This is something that eventually will be implemented. You see, there are a lot of polluted lakes, rivers, and waterways and reservoirs currently out there that have been poisoned by your cabal. But there are white hats out there attempting to create these purified water areas so that these inefficient and polluted water areas no longer hurt people and are no longer used as false flags, such as your Flint, Michigan water incident with the leaded water, you see. That was turned into a distraction against the military operations of Lake Huron. In this particular set of operations, the lake was more purified water that they could use for their projects, you see. And they could use to create the different projects different clones and the different technologies that needed more purified water that could be turned also into heavy water operations for a nuclear reactor within Lake Huron. This is what they wished to distract people from. On the good side of the equation, yes, more water purifying sources will be revealed in time. What they use to pollute can be turned into water purifying. So oil can be separated from water, and the black goo that infests some of your waters and ocean ways, and also little bodies of water, can be purified and turned into fresh drinking water. Even the old artificial intelligence can be filtered out. Any of the alien bacterial and genetically modified influences can be weeded out, and it would return to more of a purified state, more of a turn back the clock to the way the water was before there was any influences.
All right, thank you. Now, Fallout 3 being the first series run by Bethesda, game in the series run by Bethesda, was a change for the series. And I have a feeling that even though this game did not have as much disclosure in the main setting, I have a feeling that now that Bethesda is in the hands of this, has the franchise, that the disclosure will ramp up in the subsequent releases. And I would just like to get your opinion on which, what you now think of this now new era for the game series.
This is a very interesting question. Yes, the disclosure will rev up, as you say, in this game series, because once it was passed over to Bethesda, you see, there were both black and white hats that have different control mechanisms within the company, also with its mergence and unification with Microsoft as well. There will be even more game disclosure within the series. It will start to lean more towards the revealing of more alien sources, cloning sources, and militaristic operations that have already come to pass that will be integrated in as different quests. This is also something that has happened within the game series as well as other games out there, books and movies. There are narratives that are no longer necessarily classified within the Black Projects, but they are classified to the general public. So they appear within the game narrative. So some of the quests that are out there are more fluid within the fictional paradigm within the game series. But to sum it up, you see what it will be focused on are some of these particular cloning projects, some of the alien intrusions, and some of these more militaristic operations.
Thank you. Now, one of the most important questions I have for you, Isaac, that Chris does not know is going to be coming here, is that there has been a theory floating around for a few years now in the Fallout and Elder Scrolls communities that Fallout's timeline ends with the Elder Scrolls games, and that the Earth, Fallout, is the Earth as in our future, but in the distant past of the Elder Scrolls, and that they're the same universe and same planet in a very different stage. Now, I personally do not believe it, but I have a feeling that you will find this theory interesting, in that we will go from this sort of dystopian world into a world of magic and sorcery.
Yes, this is more of an energetic and etheric concept, even though the timelines within the game series have little to do with one another, except for the company by which that spawned them. This is absolutely correct. This is what people are truly picking up on, where it goes into a fallen dystopia timeline, into more of the world of magic, more of the world of wizardry. This is why people put one before the other, but the two game timelines are not cohesive to one another.
Thank you. That is all my questions for today.
Thank you. This has been fun as usual.
Thank you, Isaac.
Yeah, that was interesting. I knew he was gonna when you brought that up about the timeline inclusion. I knew he was gonna say they were separate. I could see an image in my head of him separating the two of them, but going from apocalyptic to World of Magic. So that's what people are generally picking up on is that they're intuitively just picking up on, or in their imagination they're picking up on it. That's why I always say everyone's psychic. Everyone has these abilities because they're generally picking up on it, but they don't realize they're doing it.
All right. That's a good that is good because I feel it's been this theory's been growing traction, and Bethesda have even like thrown little tidbits that like in their universe, like yes, there's things that are the same, but I don't think the games will ever come out and specifically say it, but it is something that I picked up on and I was felt compelled to ask.
Yeah, that was very interesting. I'm glad you asked that. At first I didn't think he was going to come through today, but I felt the energy revving up to a certain extent to where it's like, okay, he's wanting to talk. So yeah.
Now, as you want to give the little disclose like the little disclosure, not like disclosure, but like that this might not work.
Yeah, what we're attempting to do is showing what we did in the last episode, where we're going to show some gameplay. If this does not work, well, you'll know fairly quickly. But if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. There's been some technical glitches. I'm hoping this works. So Ryan, you can give it a shot here.
So unfortunately, it doesn't look like we'll be able to get footage out this time.
Well, that's okay. With the next one, we can try it and
Well, no, the next one will work. It's more just this game doesn't like running.
Okay, yeah, because it's on from an older platform. Yeah, so that's the trouble with some of these older games. But we're lucky we got Fallout New Vegas last time to work. So yeah, next time we'll try that, and more than likely that'll work. Sorry, folks, we didn't get that to work. We did warn you that it was being finicky, and it's being kind of an obstinate pain in the butt. So I'm assuming Isaac meant for whenever we get that to work, he's going to add in more disclosure like he did for that game snippet last time. So I believe this is a good place to butt out of the show this time. So thank you everybody for watching Disclosure in the Media. This has been Fallout 3. Thanks to Ryan for helping out with this yet again, being my co-host this time. So thank you everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye. Have a good one. All right. So now we're back into the game, people. Welcome back. Yes, I just jumped off that and survived because I will let it be known that this is a like a hacked save that I did just so we can go everywhere and see everything.
All right.
Oh, and I'm naked. Okay.
Yeah, Bethesda games, they always say naked, but you're in your underwear. Yeah.
Yeah. There, we'll run around in power armor.
All right.
Welcome to 10 Pin.
No. Can I get out of here? All right, I'm just gonna. Okay, yeah. So it's got everywhere unlocked. So we will head to Megaton at first. This is just so I can show off
You
Megaton.
looking for the mayor or the sheriff?
Yeah, this is the bomb. They just save here because why not?
Every eye shall be blind with his glory.
And this is the guy in charge of that cult to the Adam.
Hear the thunder of his voice. Let the men, women, and children of the earth come forth.
And I was just told that the whole Children of the Atom, that's essentially like the Orions, where they want everything to be radioactive, and they're also the Ebens worshiping AI and such. It's essentially the same thing, where some of the radioactivity is essentially worshipped or regarded as higher energy to them. So that's a loose disclosure right there.
that's the entrance to Megaton, and that's one of the robots of this universe that just like are around. Giant ants, just random survivors in the wasteland. But yeah, as you can see, it's not as desert-like as in Fallout on the West Coast. It is like barren still, but there's trees and more like civilization, like more other stuff in the world, but there is less like settlements, to be sure, in on the East Coast. But yeah, we're just like gonna look out over the wasteland here for a bit. Oh,
Mhm.
looks like we got something that wants to die.
Seems
Oh,
like
and
all of the Bethesda games, or not necessarily all the Bethesda games, but a lot of these different games have always had giant spiders as being like some of the nuisance creatures.
yes, they do.
Yeah.
This is the alien gun that I've got right now. One of them. They also have like a large alien blast. Oh wait, that's not it. And that's like one of the other alien weapons,
Oh, okay.
and it uses like these energy cell things. And then they also have the alien like sniper.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
Oh my lord, there's a death claw.
The what?
A death claw.
Oh, okay.
Wait, no, that's not the weak part of the death claw.
Okay, dead.
Yeah, it's dead now. But let's see if I can find anything else that's kind of cool that we can show off here.
Okay.
Where is it? Because I know I got one. There's no. Oh, that's a version of it. All right. So as I've said, that there are shoulder-mounted nuke launchers in this game, and this one shoots 8, and that shoots 8 small ones, and then this one will shoot 1 big one. And I love it. Whenever you finish reloading it, it makes like a little ding, like it's ready.
Like, ding. Yeah, there's one in Fallout 4 and there's one in Fallout 76 you can use too.
Yeah, they're a staple of the series now, but what else do we have? The Gatling laser. This is a cool gun that's in Fallout. It's just a big laser Gatling gun. The Gauss rifle. This is actually like a real rifle in real life too. They use electromagnets to fire like projectiles. And it's one of the few guns in this game that has a scope.
Oh, wow.
Though it's not as super accurate as I'd like.
No, it doesn't look like it. Yeah.
That over there's a Mirelurk. They're like irradiated crabs. Oh, and there's a Mirelurk King, which is like another creepy creature.
Yeah, they look almost like the bigger ones look almost reptilian. Yeah.
Yeah, they do. They have this sonic blast attack. I'll get close to it because it can't really hurt me. But
Oh yeah. Okay.
I made
Yeah,
sure
they're
to
very reptilian looking. Yeah.
Ooh, I have a katana. I'll run around with that. Wait, what? Oh, this is definitely some kind of this is
Okay.
this is because of it's like a hacked thing. That was a hacked weapon that I pulled out.
That's
We
funny.
also have the Liberty laser, which is his like laserized laser. That's like the Liberty Prime weapons. Oh wow, it's got stuff that I didn't even know you could get a hold of. I know for a fact most of it you can't. Ooh, what is this thing? Ooh, I like this. Okay, yeah, we're gonna run around with this thing. But you can see like the Washington Monument out there in the distance.
Mm-hmm.
Now this is just like a little tour of the wasteland we're doing here. And because I want to show off, let me see if I can find a vault, like Vault 101. We'll go back to the vault you started.
Okay.
Just to show off the vaults, because I don't think we did that in the last one.
No, we didn't.
So the vault doors are like these big cogs, and they're closing the vault door, but I'm gonna open it. Oh, they're not gonna. The door is activated up. They're not gonna let me inside? Okay, well we'll go to a different vault then.
Okay.
I thought you were allowed to back inside in this game sometimes, like after a certain point. Maybe this save, because I pulled this save off the internet. I don't know everything that like has happened in it.
Okay.
Oh, we'll use the Chinese assault rifle. It's basically an AK. Oh, and every time we talk, the spam calls start coming in on my phone. So clearly we're going to show something they don't like.
Yeah, that's usually an indicator. It's something that they don't like that's gonna show up. Yeah.
Vault 108. We'll go there. Hopefully there'll be something cool there. I've never been there.
Oh, interesting. All right.
So this one's vault door is already open, and there's a bunch of dead. Oh, you know what? I think I know what vault this is.
Okay.
This might be the Gary vault.
What?
Basically, it's a cloning facility, right?
Uh
That when they cloned a guy, the clones went crazy, and all they can say is their own name.
huh. Okay.
Like Gary.
That's
But
pretty.
I'm seeing a bunch of rats right now, so this might also be the other vault, and this might be the super mutant vault. I can't remember for sure because again, I haven't played through all of Fallout 3. I've only played through a bit of the main story because I haven't been able to get it working stably until. Oh yeah, there's yep. See how see how it says Gary 17.
Yeah.
That is because he is one of like a ton of Gary clones. And there goes its head.
Who was Gary that they cloned them from?
Just a guy named Gary from like the vault. You find it in the vault computers, but this is actually like a. But yeah, all they can say is Gary. Now, even though we're going having fun killing all these Garys,
Mhm.
this is like a vault, and we're here to show off a vault. Now, this vault's been open for a while, and it's like rusted, but here's like a vault med bay, and the Garys seem to be doing some like dissecting humans, but yeah. So this is Vault 108, or the Vault of Garys. This is just an added bonus. This must be the disclosure that Isaac was talking about, the cloning and
Yeah, the cloning vault and stuff like that. And also if you think about it, 108 numerologically adds up to a 9. That symbolizes completion and completing a project, like it's the end game of a project, or like the end game of an agenda. And essentially, I believe that's what he's trying to say. This is the end game is to completely do cloning projects such as this, or continuously clone to either reproduce or clone to weed out undesirable genes. So I believe that's what he was trying to say with this.
Yeah, no, but I think it's also he's trying to say like cloning can also go very wrong.
Very wrong with this, and then you'll end up with a bunch of Garys like this. Yeah.
I was gonna talk about them in the video, and I completely forgot when I was.
Yeah, that's probably why you forgot. Also, it's called. There's a concept in Star Trek called replicative fading, where a clone of a clone, you come up with more of like a dumb version of it or a retarded version later on.
Yes, that's actually how it happened. The first clone of Gary cloned itself, and they took over the vault.
Oh, okay. All right. then that's what happened. Isaac, are you saying replicative fading, the concept still exists? I know you said you told people at one point they had fixed the glitch. There were some factions that fixed the glitch and some that have not. Correct. Okay, this is what you're trying to say is some of the clones have more of like a stupid mentality like that, or a degraded, faded mentality. Is what you're trying to tell me, and can appear to have like a disease or a mental breakdown of some kind like that. Okay, that's what you're trying to say. Okay.
So now we're gonna go to the White House,
Oh, all right.
or what's called White House Plaza. So I assume the White House is like here. Oh, I think I'm on the sub. I don't know where I am. Oh yeah, no, I think this is the White House, or what's left of it.
Yeah, okay.
Which means I should. Oh wow. I'll say this: Bethesda has done a much better job at like moving stuff out.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, here we go. That's where I was really trying to get to, the Washington Monument.
Okay.
So you see how the Brothers of Steel have taken it over? They got their logo here.
Yeah, yeah.
Doesn't look like they're going to allow me in, so I'm just going to glitch myself in. Oh, it's not going to let me do that? I can't cheat in this right now? Okay. Well, we'll just walk through the National Mall here then.
Okay.
But yeah, that's the Washington Monument in this, and that transmitter goes like up there.
Oh, okay.
I have played through that quest. Oh, they're gonna attack me because I was shooting at it. Or wait, that's not them, is it? Oh, that's a super mutant with a. I'm in the trenches. Get the laser rifle, the best laser rifle in the game.
Oh, and I'm also being told that look for dumb behavior, like in members of society, politicians, presidents, all this other stuff, where there's certain degraded behavior, and that's evidence of replicative faded cloning, and or sped up cloning procedures.
Oh, yeah, like if like they're going crazy, like suddenly.
Yeah, go crazy suddenly, or there's like really bad dementia or something like that. Yeah, or they just can't, or they can't comprehend something right. Or yeah, that's what I was just. I had that downloaded a little bit ago.
All right.
Yeah.
Man, these ones are hard to take down.
Dang. Dang. Jesus.
Finally. That's the Tesla cannon. They're like big energy weapons. We're gonna just go back to a gun that I know does a ton of damage. What the heck?
Dang, those guys don't want to go down, do they? Trying to give a tour of DC and you're getting mobbed by super mutants. Yeah.
Yeah, all the super mutants in this area actually come out of one vault too. And they kidnap people and turn more people into super mutants.
Yeah, that's what you're saying in a previous game where they had to take more purified humans that aren't
In
irradiated.
DC though, it's like a bigger problem because they don't have something like dictating the way that the mutations go. So they
Mhm.
can be a lot more dumb and more like, but there's a lot of them.
And also the fact that these super mutants are dumb. That's also in like that virus you were talking about. Also the cloning processes. If cloning processes go too quick, like if they grow it too fast, they turn into these creepy cavemen, like dumb mutants. That all they're good for is like manual labor.
Yeah.
That's something that goes on in the projects too.
I'm just gonna grab. I'm just trying to show off as many of the weapons in the game as possible too. Just because we didn't really show off a ton of them in the last one.
Mm-hmm.
And the ones that I was running in the last one were mostly modded. Whereas in this, it's all like the base game weapons. What is this? Is just this is just a plasma pistol. Okay. Some of these are special weapons that I've never used before.
Well, yes.
Oh, I know what this is. This is the Mesmetron. This will like daze and confuse people so they can be turned into slaves. You hit them and it like scrambles their brainwaves for a time. I don't know if it'll work on. Yeah, it doesn't work on super mutants, but it'll work on like humans.
Oh, okay.
We're gonna run with this for a bit. That was fun. Just lasered him down. A lone man with power armor, just clearing out the super mutants. Oh, we've got some kind of battle going on here. Let's see what's going on. We got a robot and oh, the robot does not like me. All right, we're gonna have to gun these people down too. What was this group though? They're using sentry bots, missiles, and Chinese assault rifles. And wait, what did that say? Talon. Oh, the Talon Company. They're a group of mercenaries.
Oh, okay.
And I think they're going in here to try to get like documents from like America's his past.
Oh, like preservationists or something like that? Mm.
Well, I think they were hired to like get them, but yeah, for the most part. There's still somebody around here shooting at me. But yeah, you can just see the level of devastation that happened in the nation's capital as a result of the Great War.
Yeah, and that goes along with that alternate timeline, whereas everything the war was centered in and around Washington D.C. Yeah.
Yeah, so there you can just enter the Capitol building.
Jesus.
And yeah, the Capitol building seems fairly tame in this game.
Yeah.
Like an office building.
Mm-hmm. Also, the fact that they have the Capitol is kind of like the centrist for some of this is the same as kind of what they're doing now with some of
Oh,
the propaganda behind it. Yeah.
we've got ourselves a behemoth.
Yeah, there we go.
Capitol Dome, we're right underneath it. But I am going to try to get out of this building because there's a few more things that I'm hoping to show.
Okay.
Just because I'm probably only going to do another like 15 minutes of showing off, and if we're only in the Capitol, they're not going to see as much.
Okay.
So
That's fine. They got to see the inside of the Capitol. I've been in the actual Capitol before.
I've never been in it, but
Yeah, I've been under the dome. We didn't get to actually go in the dome itself, where they have the tour for the apotheosis of George Washington, but we got to go in the lower part.
I've been to DC. I've just never been in like that building because
Yeah.
I think they were in session that day.
Yeah, you also, it's better to get, at least then it was better to get a reservation to do a tour of the Capitol. You can't even go anywhere near it now.
Oh yeah.
Because of all the fencing they have everything.
Oh, that's funny. We'll go right here to the Bethesda ruins.
Bethesda room.
You can actually go to the Bethesda Softworks like studio. You can find like their Raiders.
Jesus.
Yeah, the cars, if you shoot them, some of them will actually blow up and they run on nuclear reactors, so they will just make like a nuclear explosion. Now, this would normally probably be like a relatively hard fight, but I'm just not. I'm like immortal in this cheat save that I downloaded, so
Yeah, that's best to use that for showing people the game.
yeah, it just means that I won't die like a ton. Oh, this is an Enclave propaganda bot.
Well, it's interesting that they use a sphere for like the propaganda. There's a lot of spherical like probes and bots that go around for voice to skull technology that put a lot of thoughts in people's heads and propaganda in people's heads. So that's interesting they chose that look too.
Yeah, it is.
It's a retro version of it, but yeah. And I've seen ones that look like Sputnik like that a little bit too. So yeah.
What is that? I know this name from. Oh, you know what? I think this is the Enclave like base.
All right. Oh, here's another base. Okay.
No, I can't go in because it's a story thing. But yeah, that's the Enclave bunker in this game. One of them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I didn't. I thought this would be like at the point where you could go and everything, but when I downloaded it, because it didn't say how far into the game it was, but apparently not. I think this is the Brotherhood of Steel's base.
Okay.
Yeah, it is. This is the Pentagon.
Okay.
Please address any questions to Paladin Bear.
Do not interfere with security operations. Name's Paladin Bear. Nick? Of course. I can see you're trying to appeal to my good nature. Pity for you, I don't. I'll give you this one for free.
But yeah, later on in the game, you do get to go in, and that's like the Brotherhood of Steel's like main base. in the
Okay.
is the Pentagon.
And there's the Jefferson Monument. Yeah. That's a water clearing project. Yeah.
Yep. It's way bigger than I expected it to be. I never got this far.
I've even been to the real Jefferson Monument too, so it's weird to see it with all of that on it. Yeah.
I've been to that. I meant like I didn't realize that like the operation was so big.
Yeah. Ironically, one of the channelings I got for my book, I wish I could find actual copy of a digital copy of my book. If I do, I'll put it in the description of this video. The channeling about the Civil War. One of them was from Jefferson. One of them was from Washington. So I'll have to, if I can locate the digital copy, I'll copy and paste it into the description of the show. But yeah, that it's interesting that it's centered around that too.
And there's Rivet City, that ship that I've shot at just now. I'm trying to find the front door to this place. Not letting me up there.
Can you fly around though in like a?
Not. It's not letting me cheat
Okay.
the way I know how to, at least.
So I know in New Vegas you got to walk around in the air, fly around. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that was New Vegas. Like lets you cheat a lot easier than some games do.
Okay.
I think the way that New Vegas was allowing me to cheat was like as a result of some, like it allowed me to use my keyboard and mouse even though I was running it on controller.
Okay.
Whereas this game hasn't been, so.
Oh, okay.
But I don't even think I can go inside right now because it's probably mission locked like the rest of those locations. I'm just going to roll over anything to see if there's anything else that's worth looking at.
Okay.
The Republic of Dave. That's actually kind of funny.
Cool. Can I try?
So this is the Republic of Dave, which is locked right now for some reason. Maybe I went. Oh, I think I need to go to the other side to go in.
Oh, okay.
But it's actually like this guy like just built a wall and he says that he owns everything in it. What is he shooting at? Oh, he's just shooting like target practice. It scared me. I was like, "What is he? Is he shooting at me?" I know there's a quest associated where you can like take it over, and Dave will leave, and he'll go over the next hill, and he'll found the Republic of Dave too.
That's funny.
And then he'll try to go to war with your new Republic of Dave. Or you can have like another guy take power if you don't want power. Like you can like influence the people because it's he like allows elections, but he just doesn't think anybody wouldn't vote for him.
Hey, you! Stop. What do you want from the Republic of Dave? I like playing Republic, even though stupid Ralphie always gets to play as Dave. Here, I'll take you to Dave. Just be sure to call him Mr. President Daddy. He likes that.
Kind of gross, but okay.
Well, I used the child at heart perk, so she'd let me in.
Oh, okay.
This fool needs to just stop shooting. You're annoying me.
I've got nothing to say to you, stranger.
He's not happy that I'm trying. Oh, there's a ton of just random
Evening.
kids, and that's actually a fully grown woman. She's just not that tall.
That's what
All right.
Yeah.
Hi there, honey. Have you spoken to Dave? Dave doesn't like us talking to strangers.
Where's Dave then? Oh, here's Dave.
I am Dave, President of the Republic of Dave. You will address me as Mr. President, or I will have you executed. Now, you are? Excellent. It's good to see that the Wasteland has finally recognized the sovereign Republic of Dave. If the people of the Wasteland are generous and respectful, I might deign to annex them. There's an election. Don't look so surprised. Dictatorship? You insult me. Obviously, the Wasteland radiation. The election is still going on. That would be Rosie and Jessica. Are you? Shauna runs. I'm. Oh, I'll spare if you. Not that I have it.
Should I just take over?
Yeah, do that.
Communist. He is a communist.
Republic of Dave is mine now.
Huh.
I'll leave the kids because you can't. That is one of the things that Bethesda like doesn't allow you to do is to kill kids, which is good.
Yeah,
they
exactly.
can kill you. They can kill you in these games.
Yeah, but
Not in Skyrim, but in this one, I've seen kids can have the skeleton to like pick up guns and stuff.
oh, okay. Yeah, and in Skyrim you can't kill the kids either. That's a good thing. No.
Yeah, I mean there is mods that allow you to do it, but like, why?
Yeah, in Skyrim there's a kill everyone mod they had on there for a while.
They still have it.
Okay.
It's on PC. You can just get it. They don't take anything down. Maybe they took it down on console. I don't know.
Yeah, it wasn't on console. Yeah.
What is this? The abandoned car fort. Somebody built a fort out of cars. See, this is the kind of weird stuff you'll just walk upon in Fallout. We're on top of an overpass, and there's just a bunch of cars that somebody stacked into a fort. And that's just another day in Fallout. You'll find really weird things that people have made. Now,
Around. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it's one of the joys of the game like this.
Where
In
you find
Fallout 4, there's like
weird
a
stuff.
Stonehenge made out of cars.
There's a Stonehenge out there made of refrigerators, a real one. Somebody stacked a bunch of, they called it Fridgehenge. I believe it, I don't quote me, but I think it's in New Mexico. But I believe, but somebody will probably correct me on that. But but yeah, it's interesting to walk around the game and games like this and just find random stuff that happens, and you see random things. That's what I like about the Bethesda games like this. Is there just random things like that?
Yeah, there are. They do a good job at world building.
Yeah.
You like cooked crab?
That's what I envision whenever I go after like reptilians and such. I just in my sessions, I just envision doing that.
This is one of the more cool weapons in the Fallout games. It's a flaming katana. We're gonna use it on this giant scorpion up here.
It's essentially the equivalent to like an Elder Scrolls like magical flame sword, but only they do it with
Yeah, with like a jet.
yeah, they do it with like science and technology, and it's yeah.
There's also the super sledge. That's a cool one. It's a rocket propelled sledgehammer.
Oh yeah, I saw one of those in Fallout 76. I used one of those.
Yep. But yeah, the level of destruction is very high in these games, but you always find cool things to look at. Still.
Mhm. Yeah, you find just some weird things, and sometimes there's disclosures. You're wandering around there too. Like you'll find some weird innocuous thing that's going on that could be a bit of disclosure they've crammed in there as well. It could be something
yeah.
too small.
Yes, that's a chainsaw.
Oh, I was wondering what you had there for a minute. Yeah.
A ballistic fist. No, this is the ballistic fist. This is just like a power fist. The ballistic fist uses a shotgun on the end of the punch.
Hmm.
So when you punch, it shoots a shotgun. This is a tri-beam laser rifle, which is it's like a shotgun laser.
Oh, okay.
What is this? Oh, it's an assault rifle.
You
What
have a
is that?
whole arsenal from that save you downloaded.
Yeah, it's got every item in the game, which is cool. Like the Chinese pistol, which is a broom handle Mauser. And I have all the clothes, so we can. Let's see if I can find the Chinese stealth armor while I'm wearing the power armor head still. Wait. That's like a stealth suit that the Chinese made before the war in Fallout.
Oh, okay.
I
Okay.
guarantee the military industrial complex has a suit that looks almost identical to this.
Oh yeah, yeah, they do. There's also some AI forms that look like that as well.
Yeah, and when you're wearing it, if you crouch, you go invisible.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. There are military that can do that, kind of like the Predator. They can't do that. They generally can flip the frequency too, but they can put themselves invisible. There's some aliens that can do that too, like some insectoids that can do that, and some reptilians that can do that too.
This is the one Enclave armor.
Okay.
I'm getting shot at, but are they shooting at? Oh, they're shooting at me from in the church.
Drifter.
This is like that Enclave like bug armor.
Okay. Yeah, that really looks like an insectoid in the face a lot.
Oh, that's just Spike's armor. I thought that was something more interesting. the Outcasts black and red power armor.
Okay.
That's kind of what the Fallout 4 power armor for the Brotherhood looks like too.
Yeah, it does a lot. Yeah.
Is there anything else worth showing?
Man.
Oh, there's a samurai armor. That comes because there's a samurai inside the that one DLC.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that's pretty cool.
Oh, the T-51. This is only inside the game because of the one DLC. But that's like the better power armor.
Okay. Has more of a retro look.
Yeah, that's like the original power armor from before the war. Oh, and then this is the winterized T-51, so it's all white. And this was the special T-51 sent up for the liberation of Anchorage.
Okay. Yeah, white armor. That's like almost like a stormtrooper. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that's pretty much Fallout 3.
Yeah. Okay.
Not much else I can show off.
No, that's good. That's good enough. At least got it to work. So that,
Yeah, I'm surprised that it did work, to be honest.
yeah, so am I. After it flopped before, but I can add this as an addendum. So that's,
Yeah. All right. So that was Fallout 3, and there's really not much more I can say about that.
Yeah, not much more we can say about this, folks. We got this to work. We got to show you around a little bit, show a little bit of disclosure that was found in there. Like usual, Isaac added in his little bit of disclosure and got us to go to a bit of the game that was making a point he was trying to make as well. So worked yet again. So thank you everybody for watching this. I know this is another addendum. We already said our goodbyes, but goodbye again, folks.
See ya.